Leonardo
Ugh.
Ciucchi, the human soap maker.
I remember you. I remember you, Mr. Ballin, talked about your clutch ass. If you don't know about her, you will. She's clucking gross and disgusting.
Nanny Doss, the giggling granny. And Dorothea Puente, the sweet, sweet old lady. These are three of the most evil grandmothers who turned out to be some of the most infamous serial killers of all time.
You're old, too.
I used to. I used to be a very good person at one time.
No, you wasn't. Talking about I used to be a very good. No. No. No, 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 no. 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 You were born with a cluck gene from the very beginning. Your ancestors had it. Going back generations. And you probably have kids that have the cluck gene. So it's just the people before you had it, you have it, and your kids will have it, and their kids, and the next generation, and so on and so forth. You probably didn't know you had it until it was too late. And you loved it. You kept doing the cluck shits.
Where you expect taking it out?
All the time back there in the hospital.
Right.
Born on April 18th, 1894, in the Italian town of Montella, Leonardo Ciucchi had a tragic life from the start. She attempted to take her own life twice before she became an adult. When she got married in 1917, Ciucchi claimed her mother placed a curse on her because she disapproved of the marriage. In 1917, Ciucchi went to prison for fraud. Upon her release, she and her family moved from Potenza to Lacedonia, not too far from her childhood home. On July 23, 1930, an earthquake struck. It would later be categorized as one of the most destructive earthquakes in Italian history. Ciucchi was one of the thousands who lost their homes in the disaster. Between her trying to take her own life, her mother's alleged curse, and multiple miscarriages, Leonardo Ciucchi realized that her life was not all that great. So she went to see a fortune teller for some insight. The fortune teller told her, "In your right hand, I see prison. In your left, a criminal asylum."
God damn.
Dwelling on her mother's alleged curse and the fortune teller's prediction, Leonardo Ciucchi became deeply superstitious. When her son Giuseppe told her in late 1939 that he was going to join the Italian army, Ciucchi turned to the one thing that she believed would keep him safe: human sacrifice. It's unclear where Ciucchi got her idea to sacrifice humans in order to save her son from dying in World War II. But regardless of where she got her idea, Leonardo Ciucchi will go on to murder 3 women before she was caught.
God damn.
Leonardo Ciucchi's first victim was a local woman named Faustina Setti, inviting Setti to her home, making her think that she was setting her up with her future husband in 1939. Ciucchi instructed her to write letters to her family members, telling them that she would be visiting a man. But Ciucchi drugged Setti with a spiked wine before using an axe on her. Next, she cut Setti into 9 pieces and gathered her blood into a basin. In her official statement after her arrest, she described things that she did next.
I threw the pieces into a pot, added 7 kilos of caustic soda, which I had bought to make soap, and stirred the whole mixture until the pieces dissolved in a thick, dark mush that I poured in several buckets and emptied in a nearby septic tank. As for the blood in the basin, I waited until it had coagulated, dried it in the oven, ground it and mixed it with flour, sugar, chocolate, milk, and eggs,
God.
as well as a bit of margarine, kneading all the ingredients together. I made lots of crunchy tea cakes and served them to the ladies who came to visit, though Giuseppe and I also ate them.
Ciucchi also reportedly took Setti's life savings of 30,000 Italian lire, the equivalent of $17.94. On September 5, 1940, Ciucchi found another victim named Francesca Soavi. She convinced Francesca that she had organized a teaching job for her in another country. It made her write letters to her friends, detailing her trip. And as she had with Setti, she fed her, used an axe on her, baked her into tea cakes, and stole her money. Her third victim, however, would be her last one, Virginia Cacioppo. Ciucchi had promised her a job, which prompted Cacioppo to pay her a visit on September 30th, 1940. Just like her previous two victims, Ciucchi had fed Cacioppo, spiked her wine, and used an axe on her. This time, however, instead of only baking her body into tea cakes and feeding them to her neighbors, Ciucchi also melted her down and turned her into soap.
She ended up in the pot like the other two. Her flesh was fat and white. When it had melted, I added a bottle of cologne, and after a long time on the boil, I was able to make some most acceptable creamy soap. I gave bars to neighbors and acquaintances. The cakes too were better. That woman was really sweet.
Immediately, her disappearance was reported to the police.
That's really like her doing that to people, to those three women. It's it's not only bad that it's horrible, but to give it to your friends, family, and neighbors. That's just certified crazy. That's ungodly, like. That's Nike crazy, like. To give it to your neighbors? Because I know when the neighbors used it, they had to have some concerns, some questions. Talking about what's that? Why does it smell like that in here? It smells like somebody is in the shower with me, but I don't know why I sense that. Kind of smells like Bob, but I don't. Jesus.
Quickly investigated Ciucchi. At first, Leonardo Ciucchi defended herself. It was only when the police shifted the blame toward her son Giuseppe that she finally broke down and admitted to everything. Ciucchi's trial lasted only a few days. She was found guilty of her crimes and sentenced to 30 years in prison and 3 years in criminal asylum. Exactly what the fortune teller said. Leonardo Ciucchi died October 15, 1970.
Who is the fortune teller? Can I meet her? Do y'all believe in stuff like that? Granted, she was pretty spot on about her, but
Nanny Doss's story begins with her birth to a family of farmers in 1905 in Blue Mountain, Alabama. Instead of going to school, all 5 of the children stayed at home to work on household chores and took to the family farm. At age 7, Doss suffered a head injury while riding a train. The head injury changed her life forever. By the time she was a teenager, Doss dreamed of living an idyllic life with her future husband. Reading romance magazines, especially the Lonely Hearts columns, took up much of her spare time. At the age of 16, Nanny Doss married a man she had only known for 4 months. They had 4 children together from 1921 to 1927. The marriage fell apart at that point. They lived with the husband's mother, but She had the same abusive type of behavior as Nanny's father.
4 months? You got married after 4 months? Yeah, hey, man, you're definitely crazy. 4 months? 4.
Perhaps it was the mother-in-law that kickstarted Nanny Doss's murdering spree. The 2 children died under mysterious circumstances that same year. One moment, the kids were perfectly healthy, and then suddenly, they died. The couple divorced in 1978. The husband took his older daughter with him and left a newborn with his ex-wife and mother. Just a year after her divorce, Nanny married her second husband. He was an abusive alcoholic named Frank.
God damn.
Despite how he treated her, the marriage lasted 16 years until 19...
My ass. I thought you were gonna say like 16 months. Or 16 weeks. Or days. Or hours. Or minutes. Somebody being in an abusive relationship is beyond me. Cluck all that love is blind. Oh, I love that person too much to leave them. What? Nah. If you're in an abusive relationship right now, learn, either get out of there or learn how to fight. Period.
35. During this period, Nanny likely killed her own newborn granddaughters a few days after they were born.
God damn.
Using a hairpin. A few months after the granddaughter's death, her 2-year-old grandson, Robert, he died all of a sudden. He died in the care of his grandmother. These 2 kids belonged to her oldest child with her first husband. But the thing is, Frank, he was next. Nanny mixed a secret ingredient into his hidden jar of moonshine. He was dead in less than a week.
God.
On September 15, 1945. Now her new husband was dead. People assumed he died of food poisoning. Meanwhile, Nanny collected enough life insurance money from Frank's death to buy a plot of land and a house near Jacksonville. Arlie Lanning of Lexington, North Carolina, died in 1952, several years after he responded to a Lonely Hearts classified ad placed by Nanny, playing the doting wife. Nanny added poison to one of Lanning's meals and he died shortly thereafter. He was a heavy drinker, so doctors attributed the heart attack to alcohol.
Wow.
Richard Morton of Emporia, Kansas, was Nanny's next true love. Although he spent a lot of time with other women while married to her. However, Nanny wouldn't discover this just yet because she was distracted with other matters. Nanny's mother needed a caretaker after she failed and broke her hip in 1953 after her father passed away. The woman died suddenly, a few months after Nanny agreed to take care of her. Shortly after her mother's death, one of her sisters died suddenly after...
God! Hey, holy shit! Everybody she encounters seems like just gets clucked up. Damn! She on a goddamn killing spree, like. Holy shit. I wonder if anybody survived or try to fight her back.
With Nanny. She was too consumed with her mother's health to find out about Morton's affairs. After she took care of her mother and sister, she turned her full attention to her cheating husband. He died under mysterious circumstances. Nanny Doss's final victim was Samuel Doss of Tulsa, Oklahoma. He was neither drunk nor abusive. He simply made a mistake of telling his wife that she can only read magazines or watch television shows that were educational.
What?
She laced a prune cake with poison. Samuel Doss spent a month recovering in a hospital.
Oh, shit.
A few days after he got home, poison-laced coffee finished him off. This is where Nanny Doss made a mistake. The doctor who treated her fifth and final husband had suspected foul play during his month-long hospital stay, but he had no proof. to the doctor who convinced Nanny Doss, who was to receive 2 life insurance benefits after the 5th husband died, to let him perform an autopsy. The physician said it was a good idea because the autopsy would save lives. The doctor found huge amounts of arsenic in Samuel Doss's body and alerted police. Nanny Doss was arrested in 1954. She soon confessed to killing 4 of her 5 husbands, but not her family members. Authorities exhumed some of Doss's previous victims and found extraordinary amounts of arsenic or rat poison in their bodies. It turns out that the common household ingredient at the time was a potent way to kill people without anyone suspecting a thing. Doss blamed her murderous escapades on her brain injury. Meanwhile, journalists gave her a nickname, the Giggling Grin, because every time she would tell her story of how she killed her late husbands, she laughed about it. Eventually, Nanny Doss died in prison in
I don't wonder nothing. That little train incident, I feel like opened up some doors, or open up that cluck door, that cluck, in her head, That's like you wearing Nike all your life and you just so happen to put on Adidas of any kind of shoe, for the first time. And that feeling that you get when you put on Adidas shoes for the first time is equivalent to you having sex for the first time. On some nice, like, I'm talking about ussy, so good. You sitting on you sitting on cloud 27. You know?
1964 while serving a life sentence for the murder of her last husband.
How many girls are in the women's side of the Oklahoma State Penitentiary?
There's 31 on my side and 26 on the colored side.
Do all the girls call you Nanny?
My brother calls me Mama.
Mama?
Yes, sir.
They call you Nanny?
That's right.
Where were you born, Nanny?
I was born in Alabama. Anderson.
Did you have a large family?
I had 4 sisters and a brother.
Were you rich?
No, sir. Farmer.
Did you work in the field?
Yes, sir.
How long?
All my life.
How old were you when you first got married?
16.
And how many times were you married?
5.
Why are you in the penitentiary now?
All the time back to my husband.
Which is your last husband?
Yes, sir.
Did they say you killed any more?
Yes,
There's your other husband? Which other?
3 of them.
Did you?
No, sir.
How did they say you killed it?
They kind of poisoned them.
But you say you didn't poison?
I didn't.
At the time you were convicted, was there a lot of talk in the newspapers about that conviction?
Yes, sir.
What did they say?
Oh, we said all kinds of nasty things.
And you think they were black?
No, sir.
You still maintain that you...
Even before that train incident, it don't look like it messed up her. It don't look like it messed up her face. That cluck ass face. But if I saw her in person, I will probably run the other way, haul ass, just like off her face alone. She looked like she wanted to kill the interviewee or interviewer. Them thin ass eyebrows.
Poison you ever give your last husband or anything
I
else?
certainly did.
Manny, what would you like to have?
first. And the next, I like a small TV for my room.
You like to watch television?
Yes, sir.
What do you like?
Well, I like to see a good story. I like to sing and do the singing.
Do you read preaching?
Yes, sir.
Do you listen to preaching sermons within the prison wall?
Yes, sir.
How about music?
I listen to all kinds of music.
What
I
kind?
enjoy music. Well, I really like to hear the music.
How about this rock and roll, Elvis Presley music here?
Well, I don't feel very much about it myself.
How about the younger girls?
They enjoy it very much.
Getting back to the reason you were convicted, who do you blame for that?
Myself.
Why?
Well, I didn't know anything about it. You know, the attorney told me to go down and say, yes, I was just doing.
Do you think it's valuable for people to have some knowledge of the law?
I certainly do.
In cases like this?
I certainly do.
God, look at them eyes. Them clutch, cuck, duck eyes. I thought this said peanut. I don't know what the hell I saw. Dear.
Dorothea Puente, born on January 9th, 1929 in Redlands, California. She was the sixth of 7 children, but didn't grow up in a stable family.
You know what's crazy? To be related to a serial killer or a psychopath or like anybody that does harm to anybody on a just because. Like, can you imagine being related to like Michael Myers or Ted Bundy or what's that Jeffrey Dahmer? Like, I would, man, yeah, no. Hell no.
Her father died of tuberculosis
Oh my God.
when Puente was 8, while her mother, an alcoholic, died in a motorcycle accident a year later.
God damn.
Orphaned, Puente and her siblings splintered off in different directions, bouncing between foster care and relatives' homes. Puente moved out on her own when she was 16. In Olympia, Washington, she tried to make a living as a streetwalker. Instead, Puente found a husband. She met and married Fred McFall in 1945, but their marriage was brief, only 3 years, and hinted at trouble beneath the surface. Dorothea Puente had several children with McFall, but didn't raise them. She sent one child to live with relatives, while another was put up for adoption. By 1948, McFall asked for a divorce, and Puente drifted south to California. There, she turned back to a life of crime. She got in serious trouble for the first time in her life after bouncing a check in San Bernardino and spent 4 months in jail. Puente was supposed to stick around to serve out her probation, but in a sign of things to come, she skipped town instead. Next, Dorothea Puente went to San Francisco, where she married her second husband, Axel Bryn Johansson, in 1952. The marriage was troubled with fighting and arguing. Despite this, their marriage lasted until 1966. Puente's next 2 marriages would be short-lived. She married Roberto Puente in 1968, but the relationship dissolved 16 months later. Puente then married Pedro Angel Montalvo, but he left her only a week after they were married. Social workers in the 1970s looked upon Dorothea Puente and her boarding house with admiration. Puente had a reputation for taking in people considered tough cases, recovering alcoholics, drug addicts, the mentally ill, and elderly. But behind the scenes, Puente had embarked on a path that would lead her to murder. She lost her first boarding house after getting caught signing her own name to tenants' benefit checks. In the 1980s, she worked as a personal caretaker who drugged her clients and stole their valuables. By 1982, Puente was sent to prison for her thefts. She was released just 3 years later. although a state psychologist diagnosed her as a schizophrenic with no remorse or regret, who should be closely monitored. Instead, Puente opened up her second boarding house. There, she quickly got back to her old tricks. Dorothea Puente took in so-called shadow people who were marginally homeless, without close family or friends. Some of these people began to disappear, but no one noticed. Even probation officers who stopped by accepted Puente's explanation that the people living at her house were guests or friends, but not boarders. In April of 1982, a 61-year-old woman named Ruth Monroe moved into Dorothea Puente's house. Soon after, Monroe died from an overdose of codeine. When the police arrived, Puente told them that Monroe had been depressed due to her husband's terminal illness. Satisfied, the authorities ruled Monroe's death as self-induced. In November 1985, Dorothea Puente hired a handyman named Ismael Flores to install some wood paneling in her home. After Flores had finished the job, Puente had one more request: for him to build her a 6-foot-long box so she could fill it with books and a few other assorted items before the pair of them would bring the box to a storage facility. When on the way to the storage facility, Puente abruptly asked Flores to pull over near a riverbank and just push the box into the water.
Oh no!
On New Year's Day, a fisherman spotted the box, noticed it looked suspiciously like a coffin, and informed the police. The investigators soon found the decomposing body of an elderly man inside. However, it would be 3 more years before authorities could identify the body as one of...
Who asks for a box that looks like a coffin? That's 6 feet. I have a question. I'm pretty sure all graves are dug or digged or deep in the ground 6 feet under. But are the actual coffins, like long ways, are they 6 feet too? Just to like fit most humans? Cause shit.
Tenants in Dorothy Puente's house. It wasn't until 1988 that the suspicions first arose about Puente, after one of her tenants, 52-year-old Alvaro Montoya, went missing. Montoya struggled with mental health issues and had been homeless for years. He even referred to Dorothea Puente's house because of her sterling reputation, welcoming people like him, unlike many who passed through Puente's boarding house. However, someone had their eye on Montoya. Judy Moyse, an outreach counselor with Volunteers of America, became suspicious when Montoya vanished. She didn't buy Puente's explanation that he had left on vacation. Moyse alerted police, who went to the boarding house. They were met by Dorothea Puente, an elderly woman with big glasses, who repeated her story that Montoya was simply on vacation. Another tenant, John Sharp, backed her up, but as the police prepared to leave, Sharp slipped a message to them, stating that she's making me lie for her. The police returned and searched the house, finding nothing. They asked permission to dig up the yard. Puente told them it's fine, go ahead. And she even provided them an extra shovel. Then she asked if it was okay if she went to go buy coffee. The police said yes and started to dig. Dorothea Puente fled to Los Angeles. The police dug up 78-year-old Leonardo Carpenter.
I thought he was about to say, dug up 78 like graves. I was about to say, holy shit! But there's no reason for me to yell.
And then 6 more bodies. Eventually she got caught and charged with a total of 9 murders. Puente was flown back to Sacramento. On her way back, she insisted to the reporters that she didn't kill anybody, claiming, I used to be a very good person at one point.
No!
But in 1993, after several days of deliberations and deadlocked jury, Dorothea Puente was ultimately convicted of 3 murders and received back-to-back life sentences. Dorothea Puente died in prison of natural causes on March 27, 2011, at the age of 82. These are 3 of the most evil grandmothers who turned out to be some of the most infamous serial killers of all time.
But you're a grandmother, like you're old, like you're
How long
all.
have you actually lived at that residence?
I think I moved there in 78, but I was in prison for, I was incarcerated from May the 19th,
1978?
no, 82, until September the 9th of 85.
Okay, so you actually started living there in 1978,
Uh-huh,
and you lived there until 1982, until May when you were sent away,
right,
and then you got out in September 1985,
right,
and you've lived there ever since.
right, okay, I was sent to prison in September of 82. August the 23rd, excuse me, August the 23rd.
August 1982, August 23rd.
But I was incarcerated from May the 19th on.
Okay, so from 1978 to 1982, you lived there, and do you remember who lived there before you?
No. I don't.
You don't remember?
No. But I've only had the downstairs for a year.
Who lived down there?
Well, I mean, I don't have the downstairs, but I collect the rent from my nephew.
Okay.
He lived there before.
What's his name?
Ricardo Ordorica. Ordorica.
Does he live here in Sacramento?
Yes. I don't remember the address.
How old is he?
About 50, 48, something like that.
Okay, approximately. He's in Sac though too, right?
Yes. Well, I pay monthly rent, you know. We've never signed an agreement.
Okay.
But they rented the place out while I was gone, but the utilities stayed in my name.
So the utilities of the property are in your name?
Uh-huh.
Who pays taxes on it?
My nephew.
He paid it.
Uh-huh.
So you paid all the utilities on the property is in your name.
Uh-huh.
And you have a verbal agreement lease
Right.
that you are to live there and
Right.
maintain and take care of the property?
Right. When I was gone, he rented my apartment out, but kept the, I used to be a very good person at one time.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut your ass up. I'm treating her like Daniela from I just reacted to the movie. Annabelle comes home. You got, I would say 99% of all people are born with no conscience. No, they're neutral, right? They don't know what's going on. You just born, you know? You don't even know what life is. Like, you have no idea what the hell is going on. All you know is that you outside of your mother's womb in which she protected you for 9 months, give or take. That's all you know. And you come out of that and you don't know what's going on. You crying, you know? But I feel like Cluckness is one, either taught behind closed doors, or two, which is very rare, you have instances where a person is born clucked. Like something ain't right in the head. But I would say like 99% of cluck people is they're being taught either directly how to be a cluck ass or subliminally being clucked. Because goddamn, Jesus. But I feel like all three of these old ladies were born No. Yeah, well, 50-50. Keep it cool, keep it classy, and I love you. Stay happy, my family.